Last month I paid $153 to not put on shoes. That's the real cost of 14 delivery orders. Not the food. The food was $194. The $153 was the tax for staying on my couch, for not driving 6 minutes, for letting an app do the thinking while it doubled the bill. I didn't see it until I pulled every receipt and did the math order by order. And when I finally saw it, I realized the apps are engineered so you never add it up yourself. So let's do it. Right now. Together. I'm going to break down exactly where my money went last month. Not the headline number, the stack. Order by order, dollar by dollar. And by the end of this video, you'll either delete these apps or you'll know exactly what you're paying to keep them. If you've ever looked at your bank account and thought, I don't even know where this money went, you're in the right place. If you want the math, these companies pray you never do. I'm Kai. Subscribe. Let's start with one order. Last Tuesday, 8:47 p.m. I just finished a long day, didn't feel like cooking, didn't feel like driving anywhere. Classic Tuesday night energy, the kind where your brain says, you deserve this. I ordered Thai food from a place 6 minutes from my apartment. Pad Thai and a spring roll. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing extravagant, just a normal weeknight dinner. Here's what I would have paid if I walked into that restaurant. Pad Thai, $14. Spring roll, $3. Total, $17 plus tax. Call it $18.50 out the door. Here's what I actually paid on DoorDash. Pad Thai, $16.50. That's $2.50 more than the menu price. Delivery apps charge restaurants up to 30%, and restaurants raise prices to cover it. Spring roll, $4.25. Subtotal, $20.75. Then the fees, service fee, $3.99. What service? The service of letting me use their app, apparently. Delivery fee, $2.99. You'd think this goes to the driver. It mostly doesn't. Regulatory response fee, 75 cents. This is DoorDash's way of passing local regulations onto you while making it sound official. Subtotal with fees, $28.48. Tax, $2.28, and then the tip. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The driver is making almost nothing from DoorDash itself. Their base pay is often $2 to $3 per delivery. Most of their actual income comes from tips. So I tip 20% because I'm not going to screw over a person who's using their own car, their own gas, their own time to bring food to my apartment. That's $5.70. Final total, $36.46 for Pad Thai and a spring roll on a Tuesday. Let me say that again. The food was worth $18.50. I paid $36.46. That's a 97% markup. I nearly doubled the cost of my dinner to avoid a 6-minute drive. And here's the thing that really gets me. I didn't feel that. I didn't experience the sensation of paying double for my food. The app showed me $16.50 for the Pad Thai, and that felt close enough to normal. Then it added fees one by one in a way that made each feel small and reasonable. $3.99? That's less than a coffee. $2.99? Basically nothing. Then I tipped, because of course I tipped. I'm not a monster. And somehow $18 became $36 without my brain ever registering what happened. That's not an accident. That's not poor interface design. That's exactly how the checkout flow is engineered to work. Keep the numbers small and separate. Never show the comparison. Never let the user see the gap between what they're getting and what they're paying. But one order isn't a pattern. One Tuesday isn't a habit. One $36 Pad Thai isn't a financial problem. Let me show you what happens when you stack an entire month of these together. I pulled every delivery order I made last month. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, every app, every transaction, every 2 a.m. regret I'd rather forget. Not to shame myself, not to feel bad. I just wanted to see the actual math, broken down in a way that no app will ever show you. Here's the stack. Order 1. Thai food value. $18.50 I paid, $36.46. Markup, 97%. The order that started this whole investigation. Order 2. Sushi food value. $26 I paid, $48.73. Markup, 87%. Arrived 40 minutes late. Lukewarm. Still paid $50. Order 3. Late night McDonald's food value. $9 I paid, $22.47. Markup, 150%. 2 cheeseburgers and fries. 1 a.m. I paid $22 for McDonald's. I could show you all 14, but the other 11 are identical. $19 for coffee and a croissant I could have made for $2. $24 for a Chipotle bowl from a place I drive past twice a day. $30 burger that should have been $16. Same fees, same markup, same quiet drain, different days, different moods, different excuses, same math. On average, I paid 89% more than the actual value of the food, not 20% more, not 30% more, not a little extra for convenience. 89% more, nearly double, on average. Across 14 orders, across every type of food, every time of day, every mood, every excuse I told myself. Here's another way to see it. The food I ordered was worth approximately $194. Actual restaurant prices. What I would have paid in person. I paid $347. I didn't spend $347 on food. I spent $347 on not moving. The difference, $153, was pure convenience tax. Fees, markups, tips to subsidize wages that the apps refused to pay. Money that evaporated the moment I tapped place order. $153 didn't buy me food. It bought me the privilege of not leaving my apartment, the privilege of not putting on shoes, the privilege of continuing to watch whatever I was watching instead of getting in my car for 10 minutes. That's all I got for $153, the right to stay seated. And look, sometimes that's worth it. You're sick, you're exhausted, you're slammed with work, it's pouring rain outside. I'm not here to tell you convenience is worthless. Sometimes it's the right call. Sometimes paying extra makes sense. But I wasn't sick 14 times last month. I wasn't slammed with work 14 times. I wasn't exhausted or overwhelmed or genuinely in need of help 14 times. Most of those orders happened because it was 7:30 p.m. I was tired, and opening the app was easier than opening my fridge. That's not a financial decision. That's a habit. A habit I didn't choose. A habit that got installed in me by an app that made ordering easier than thinking, easier than deciding. And that habit cost me $153 in a single month. That's $1,836 a year. Just in markup. Just in the gap between what I got and what I paid for it. Not groceries, not nice restaurants, the tax for staying on my couch. $1,836 is a vacation. $1,836 is 2 months of car payments. $1,836 is a really good emergency fund starter. I spent it on what? Cardboard containers in my recycling bin, plastic bags in my trash, the memory of meals I can barely remember eating. And here's the worst part. February wasn't unusual. Our February was just February. I didn't track it because something felt wrong. I tracked it on a whim. This is just how I was living. This is how I'd been living for months, maybe years. Let me tell you about the breaking point. The order that made me pull my entire transaction history. 2 weeks ago, I ordered a sandwich. A sandwich. Turkey, avocado, some vegetables. From a deli 4 blocks away. I could literally see the deli from my window. I could watch the delivery driver walk from my building to the deli and back. That's how close it was. The sandwich was $11 in the store. I know because I bought it before, in person, back when I had the energy to walk 4 blocks, back when I was less, whatever I'd become. On Uber Eats, the same sandwich was $13.50. Stop. That's already a 23% markup before any fees. The app doesn't show you that comparison. Why would it? Then $3.49 service fee. What service? The service of existing. Then $2.99 delivery fee. You'd think that goes to the driver. It mostly doesn't. Then $1.50 in taxes. Then tip, 3 buttons, $3, $4, $5. Middle one highlighted. I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm already committed, and now I'm choosing between looking cheap and paying more. The driver's base pay is $2.50, so I tip $4 to cover wages the company refuses to pay. Final price, $24.87, for a sandwich I could have walked to in 8 minutes. A sandwich that was sitting in a refrigerated case 4 blocks away, waiting for someone to come get it. Waiting for me to come get it. I could see the building from my couch. $24.87 for an $11 sandwich. The fees and tip cost more than the food. And here's what made me sick. I almost didn't notice. The app showed me each charge separately, small enough to ignore. $3.49 feels like nothing. $2.99 feels like nothing. Stack them together, and suddenly you've doubled the price. They're counting on you not adding. That was the moment. That was when I opened my laptop and pulled every delivery transaction from the last 30 days. That was when I decided to actually look at what I'd been doing to myself. And the math told me something I didn't want to hear. I wasn't using delivery apps occasionally for convenience. I was bleeding money on autopilot, order by order, tap by tap, into a system designed to make the bleeding feel normal. The apps had turned me into exactly what they wanted, a habit, a reliable revenue stream. Delivery apps don't sell food, they sell permission to stay still, and I'd been buying it 14 times a month. Once I saw the numbers, some behaviors didn't survive. I made one rule with teeth. If I can see the restaurant from my apartment, delivery is illegal. No exceptions. No, just this once. No, but I'm tired. If it's walkable, I walk or I don't eat. That single rule killed $50 a month in pure laziness tax. I started checking restaurant websites before ordering. Not as a rule, just out of curiosity at first. And once you see that a $16.50 pad thai is actually $14 in store, you can't unsee it. The gap becomes real. It has a number attached to it, and suddenly you're making a choice instead of just clicking a button. You're deciding whether that gap is worth it to you right now for this meal. Usually it's not. I started saying the real total out loud before I ordered, not the subtotal the app shows you, the real total, food plus fees plus tip. This burrito is going to cost me $26. When I hear myself say that number out loud, the decision changes. The convenience stops feeling free. It stops feeling like nothing. I deleted the apps from my home screen. They're still on my phone, buried in a folder 3 swipes deep. That tiny friction, having to search instead of tap, killed half my impulse orders. Turns out I didn't actually want delivery most of the time. I wanted the problem of what should I eat to go away. Those are different problems. Only one of them costs $15 in fees. Here's where I am now. 3 weeks since I started tracking. 3 weeks since the $25 sandwich that broke something in my brain. In that time, I've ordered delivery exactly 4 times. 4 orders in 3 weeks versus 14 orders in February alone. Total spent on delivery, $78. Same food, if picked up, $47. Delivery tax paid, $31. Compare that to February, $153 in delivery tax. In 1 month. That's $122 I didn't hand over to DoorDash's fee structure in 3 weeks. And I didn't suffer for it. I didn't starve. I didn't spend hours in the kitchen every night becoming some kind of meal prep influencer. I just made different decisions. Conscious decisions. Decisions where I could see the real numbers before I committed. Decisions that were actually mine instead of decisions an algorithm made for me. I'll still pay for convenience sometimes. I'm not pretending I'll never order delivery again. That's not realistic. And honestly, it's not the point. The point isn't to never use these apps. The point is to use them with your eyes open, to know exactly what convenience costs, to see the gap before you pay it, to make the decision yourself instead of having it made for you by an algorithm that profits from your exhaustion. But here's the thing that actually changed. The thing I didn't expect. It's not just the money. It's the feeling of being in control of a decision I used to make on autopilot. Every time I see the real math, $34 for a $17 meal, and I choose to go pick it up instead, I feel like I won something back. Like I took back a small piece of agency. Like I'm not just a revenue line that DoorDash counts on. Like I'm not a habit they successfully installed in me. Because that's what they want you to be. They want delivery to be so embedded in your week that you never question it. They want the app to be the first thing you open when you're hungry. They want the fees to be invisible and the convenience to be automatic. They want you to feel like ordering is the default and cooking, or even just walking, is the exception that requires justification. They want you to never do the math. So do the math. Pull your last month of delivery orders, not to shame yourself, just to see, just to know what's actually happening. Add up what you spent, then estimate what that food would have cost in person. Same restaurants, same meals, just without the app in the middle. Look at the gap between those two numbers. That gap is real money. Your money. Money that could have been savings. Money that could have been a better meal, cooked at home, or eaten at the actual restaurant with actual friends, at an actual table. Money that could have been anything except a service fee and a regulatory response fee and a small order fee and a tip that subsidizes a billion-dollar company's refusal to pay their workers. I paid $347 on delivery last month. Only $194 of that was food. The rest, $153, bought me nothing but the absence of short walks and 20-minute cooking sessions. It bought me the right to stay on my couch. That was the entire product I was paying for. I was paying a 79% convenience tax on my own hunger, and I didn't even know it, couldn't have told you the number until I ran the math myself. The apps will never show you this breakdown. They'll show you free delivery promotions and save $5 on your next order and subscription plans that pay for themselves. They'll show you anything, literally anything, except the truth, that you're paying nearly double for the privilege of not moving. I'm not saying never order delivery. I'm saying know what it actually costs, not the total on the receipt, the gap between what you got and what you paid for it. Because once you see the stack, once you actually look at it, you can't unsee it. And suddenly, I'll just order in tonight isn't a harmless convenience. It's a decision you're making with your eyes open. That $153 I lost last month, that could have been 4 dinners out with friends, actual restaurants, actual tables, actual conversations, actual memories, or groceries for half a month, or the start of something I actually wanted to build. Instead, it disappeared into service fees and regulatory response fees and delivery charges that didn't even go to the driver, into a system that was built to hide this from you. It's not a few bucks, it's the stack, and the stack is where your money goes to die quietly.